Welcome to video 1 in this series about how to achieve a pain-free back. Video 1 is understand your pain. So I want to take you through some of the background science and physiology about why and how we experience pain. And in particular, I'm talking about chronic pain. So that's the type of pain that lasts for longer than the window of time needed for your tissues to heal. Even complicated parts of our body, like the disc between our vertebrae, which doesn't have a very good blood supply, can and will heal in a matter of weeks or months. But many of us who have had back problems will find that even years after we first hurt ourselves, we can still experience debilitating back pain. And it might be through some innocuous event like putting on a sock or reaching into the back of the car to pick something up. If we're in a bent over position, we suddenly trigger an episode of really bad back pain. And this leaves us thinking, what is going on with my back? Is it really weak now? I can't trust it. Are there activities that I want to do that I used to do that I can't do anymore because I'm going to be in pain? Well, it's worth looking at the research to find out more and educate ourselves about our bodies. And we know from some recent studies published in the Lancet, which for those skeptics among you is good science, that learning about how our bodies work, and particularly about how our nervous system interprets sensations and experiences pain, is more effective than a traditional physiotherapy approach. It's really worth doing the work to understand how our brain and our body perceive the world and how we produce and experience pain. And that's step 1 on the road to resolving chronic pain. It's also worth learning that being very, very frightened or being in extreme pain share the same neural and chemical circuits. They're indistinguishable at the level of the cell inside our bodies. And if we've ever had a really frightening experience or a really painful experience or both, we learn very rapidly from that, and it's easy for us, our brains and our bodies, to reproduce that feeling and experience it again in the future. So just take a second to look at this diagram, and it lays out a combination of all the different things that go into producing your experience, your sensation at any given moment. And I want to give some examples about how these different systems can be disordered in individuals with chronic pain. And within those examples, we'll see how it's a little bit more complex than just what you're seeing or feeling in the moment. In fact, your whole history, your whole past, all of your emotions attached to your previous experiences, and your physical function in the here and now go into your experience of pain. So if we look at, first of all, perception, we know that, for instance, older individuals who are worried about falling and who are frail will perceive a staircase in a completely different way to a younger person. And when asked to judge how steep a flight of stairs are, they will make mistakes if they are worried about falling. Whereas we know that less frail or stronger individuals will perceive a more accurate gradient in a flight of stairs. This is one example of how our perceptual systems can deceive us if we're carrying around some emotional baggage about what we can or can't do based on our experience of pain. And hopefully that will resonate with some of you. If you've got lower back pain, you'll think, well, maybe there's some activities that I really want to do, I used to do frequently, but I can't do them now because of my back. Top right of the diagram, you'll see the word proprioception, and that refers to your own sense of your body in space. Well, we also know that people with chronic pain take longer to recognize photographs of their own hand or foot and to identify whether it's the right or the left hand or foot. This ability to interpret your own body and kind of identify what's going on and where becomes corrupted when we've got chronic pain, and that's especially true of our back. We're not very good at distinguishing tactile sensations in that area. And in fact, re-educating ourselves and becoming more coordinated with our body and particularly with our back is one of the major steps that we're going to take in our rehabilitation towards a pain-free back. The next word you can see there is interoception. It's not a very familiar word. And that's like a kind of quick diagnostic check of your internal systems. So again, people with chronic pain or who've had a bad experience and a former injury may become more panicked or anxious when undertaking a difficult or unfamiliar task. They may become aware of their heart beating a little faster, or their breathing has become more rapid. And again, this can put us into a state where we're not relaxed, we're not enjoying ourselves, and we're therefore prone to tighten up. And in fact, like a self-fulfilling prophecy, bring on that experience of pain, which if we were more relaxed and enjoying ourselves, we would probably not experience. You'll see the next one, vestibular system, and that relates to your balance. Again, we know that the amount of activity and exercise that you're doing on a daily basis and a weekly basis is predictive of what you'll be able to do in the future. And so if you're restricting your physical activities, and if you're trying to limit the amount of things that you do because you don't want to bring on that pain in your back again, then in essence your world shrinks. And when you become, if you suddenly have to perform a movement, move quickly, or get into a position that you're not familiar with, your balance and your coordination can be impaired and affected by that, because your body simply isn't prepared to do the movement that it's called upon to do. So what we want to think about is broadening our palette of physical skills and physical movements, and exposing the body to a wider variety of sensations and movements to update that system and allow us to be more functional in our day-to-day life. That's another key principle in achieving a pain-free back. And at the bottom of the picture, you'll see the word memory. And again, it's very important to recognize that memories we have, particularly with a powerful emotion attached to them, will play into our experience of pain in the here and now. So if you're finding that a simple task like bending down to put on a sock or a shoe, or reaching up to grab something from a shelf, if you're finding that something like that reproduces back pain, it may be because of the proximal event, but it may also be to do with the emotions and the memory that you've got built up around back pain and what having chronic back pain means to you, because it's a very debilitating and limiting condition. The purpose of learning all this is to help you to understand that it's not simply what's going on right now, but it's all the complex experiences and sensations that you've accumulated in your brain over time, and the way that these play out on your experience of the here and now. You might be thinking, what is it? Do you mean it's all in my head? I don't mean that. Your head is part of your body. Mind and body are the same thing. What we're going to do in this video series is learn to retrain our brain to interpret sensations, movements, and experiences in a positive way, whilst at the same time bringing down that fear and that pain response, and open up our world so that we can do the things that we want to do and have a pain-free back. Thanks for watching.